Oh, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Oh, this right here? Just a new fashion trend. I call it arm stool. Are you jealous that you didn't come up with arm stool? You go anywhere you want and you got a stool at your disposal. And here's the best part. Somebody giving you trouble at the bar, guess what? Now you got a weapon. Now you got a weapon. You got a self-defense weapon. I'm really running out of bits for the introduction of these videos. Welcome, my friends. Another day, another card trick tutorial. And today we're going to be showing you guys a variation on the classic plot, the Red Hot Mama, the Chicago opener. You've seen this around the internet. It's gotten notoriety amongst the lay people. Could you imagine referring to a group of people that don't do magic tricks as lay people? And of course, today I'm going to be using my brand new deck of playing cards, the Missing Piece deck, which is actually live on Kickstarter right now. So for this, you're going to put down your arm stool and use it as a surface. For this, we're going to have the participants touch any card they want. Let's say they happen to touch the Queen of Spades. And we go, Queen of Spades, really? That's crazy, because that happens to be the only card from a different deck than the rest. This one actually happens to be the Vaporwave edition of the Missing Piece playing cards. But I'll let you in on a little secret. These are actually heat-sensitive playing cards. So I'll show you how I could do this trick again. And at this point, you have the participant call stop as you cut cards randomly, and you go, great, we'll use this one, the Joker. We'll use the Joker. Watch, if I just cover it and give it some heat, it's going to turn into a Vaporwave deck. Just watch. Sometimes it doesn't work as well. Maybe that's why these are prototypes. Oh, I see what happened. It's the Queen of Spades. It's the card you picked. But it now has a Missing Piece original pink back. You don't think that the Joker... No, of course not. And of course you show that the ink transferred from one card to another. Oh yeah. So what a good use of the Missing Piece deck of playing cards in this particular variation of the Red Hot Mama or the Chicago opener. In this case, you bring them in, you say, hey, come on, I'm going to show you how this trick is done. These are heat-sensitive playing cards. Really, you're lying through your teeth. And you're actually lying through your teeth for multiple parts of this particular routine. And here, I'm going to show you how to get it done with a different color back and a normal deck. So first things first, I'm going to take the Joker and I'm going to place it fourth from the bottom of the deck. This is a position for a spread call. A spread call is one of those moves that you need to learn in card magic. As a matter of fact, I have a whole thing on it on the PigCake Magic Academy. Look at me, multiple shilling. Not only am I shilling the Missing Piece deck of playing cards, I'm also shilling the PigCake Magic Academy. Now what you're going to do is you're going to get that card in a cold position. So right now, I'm just sneaking it underneath the spread to a spread call position. So as I spread through the cards, that card is actually going to be riding underneath the spread. What this allows me to do from the front is that whatever card the participant touches, let's say it happens to be the 8 of Hearts, this card is coming along the entire way. So what this allows me to do is that now I could use my thumb to square this card up, and really I'm actually squaring it up with the card underneath, which happens to be the card from a different deck. But the perception is going to be that this, when I turn over my hand, is the card they touched. So at speed, that movement might just look a little bit like this. Sir, I'm going to have you touch any card that you want, any card at all. Or right there, the Jack of Clubs, great. What you actually don't know is that this card happens to be the only card from a different back. You see, it's from a Missing Piece Vaporwave edition deck. Now, of course, you don't mention that specifically when you're doing a trick, but you could tell them that this card happens to be from a different deck. Now, I'm going to drop this card on the table, and I'm going to place this half in my right hand, right there beneath the cards in my left hand. This actually takes their card and places it right on top. Now I do this as I turn the cards over and show them that we don't have another card from a different deck. They managed to pick the only one. Really, I'm doing this so that they don't happen to touch this card, and I take the heat off of this card and place it right on the deck. So the attention is no longer on this card, it's now on the cards that are in my hand. But at this point I have their card, the card they touched, on top of the deck, and I'm ready to force it. Now the force that I'm going to use, it's a very simple one. It's called the cut force. I'm going to cut this card to the middle and regroup the cards while keeping a break. Now here, I'm going to cut piles of cards to the table, but as I get to the card, what I'm going to tell the participant is I want you to call stop as I deal through the cards like this. Now, typically, when you give that information to them, what's going to happen is that they're going to call stop within 3 beats. So the timing would be as follows. I'm going to cut cards like this to the table. I just want you to call stop anytime you want. Now, typically, they'll stop either here or they'll stop 1 beat less. If you notice, I gave it 3 beats after I gave the instruction, and the participant is usually going to stop within that particular realm of you cutting the card to the table. It's a timing-based thing, but once you get it down, you're going to have a wonderful force that you could perform, and it's going to look like you really don't care. You don't even have to cut the cards to the table like this neatly. You could throw them on the table in this haphazard way to make it seem like you really don't care. Now here, when I look at the card that supposedly they cut too freely, it really is the participant's card, the one they touched in the beginning. But I'm going to turn it to myself, and I'm going to lie. I'm going to miscall it as the Joker. So the way that this might look like is as follows. Sir, I'm going to cut packets of cards to the table. I just want you to call stop anywhere you want. Right there, great. So we'll just use the Joker. The Joker seems like a good one because I'll show you that the cards actually are heat sensitive. And as you can see, I've gone through it. I have the participant's card in my hand. I miscalled it as a Joker. And I've taken the heat off by just dismissing the notion that I care about what the card is. I'm just wanting to pick another card from the deck, and I want to share with them this particular feature of the card, which is the heat sensitivity. Of course, that's a lie, because it's just a modus to get to the point where we show the cards to have transposed. You're more than welcome to use a riffle-style force for this particular trick. Again, it's all that, but the point that I love of this particular routine is when I'm lying through my teeth. So I just point the card to myself quickly. I go, we'll use the Joker for now. And you see, if I just give it a little bit of heat, the card's actually going to turn into that one. It's going to have the same exact back. And of course, I could fail and ultimately show that, well, no, I didn't fail. The cards actually just happen to switch places. So here I have the missing piece original pink with the Jack of Clubs, the card they touched. And over here, they could turn it over themselves and they see the Vaporwave Joker that I happen to have lied about. Talk about a 1-2 punch with this particular trick, which is getting them in the gut, and then we're getting them again with that ending. And then we're beating them just senselessly to the point where we end up on a Netflix documentary. Now, a couple things about this particular trick. It is a little bit more complicated to perform than the original version. The original version was just a cut, a double lift, and you're good to go. And a force. This one, you do have to have a couple of bits of audience management, especially when it comes to having the participant not touch cards where you don't want to. And the way that you manage this is by subverting their expectation, distracting them with something else. So in this case, the identity of the card doesn't matter. What matters is the property, that I could actually supposedly cause it to change the back color by just putting heat. That's what matters. When I show the participants that they've touched this card, the only different card in the deck, I immediately put that on the table and I use my hands to cover and show the fact that that's the only card of a different color in the deck. So you're managing the participants and making sure that at every point in this routine, they're not going to be able to grab something when they're not supposed to. And of course, this routine makes effective use of the missing piece playing cards and the stretch goal, which is the Vaporwave edition. I say stretch goal because this will only be unlocked when we actually reach sufficient funding, I know. But for now, consider checking out the missing piece deck of cards. This is something that I really pride myself on, and I'm really happy with the way everything came out with this particular deck. Now, this is my first deck of playing cards, but I can assure you it's going to be the first of many. If you've already pledged to the campaign, I will personally touch you inappropriately when I see you. Hopefully, we could touch missing piece decks. And if you haven't, please consider doing so because, once again, we're trying to fund these, and I'll be leaving the link below to the actual campaign itself where you could check it out. Even if you don't contribute to the campaign, if you share it, I will probably still end up touching your deck. Some advice at the end of the video. I always like to give little bits of advice so that you could carry on with something that isn't necessarily magic related. And I like to improvise. I like to improvise with what's around me. Now, the thing is that I've come to the point where I've used everything around me, but I can still come up with things. I could always come up with little bits of byplay, a little banter, and see where my mind takes me. In this case, this gum. Gum is a tremendous icebreaker. And I'm not just saying that because, well, I guess the marketing for this in the 90s was breaking ice because of the freshness of your breath. As a matter of fact, me and my brother, when we were really hot one day, we begged our mom to buy Dentine ice because we thought that it was going to make us colder because of the marketing. But here it's a great thing because you take it out in the bar and you put it in your mouth, and what's going to happen? People are going to ask you. Now, you could sift and cull the right people. So in this case, let's say some troglodyte asks you, hey, can I get some gum? You go, no, I ran out. But if the shoddy, the attractive one says, hey, can I get some gum? You go, yeah, sure. And you give her 14 pieces. And then she's going to give you 14 pieces of something else. So good tip to have is just carry gum on you.
I see you again, when 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 I see you again.